What up, people? Mike Steph here for another edition of Mike Steph's WrestleMania Memories. We are now up to episode 25. Uh, WrestleMania 30, more importantly, WrestleMania 30 took place in 2014 from the Superdome, not the Silverdome, not the Pontiac Silverdome, no, but the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. It was highlighted by actually, this was a very strong WrestleMania, very strong WrestleMania. In part because this was the first WrestleMania in which there was an alternative means to watch WrestleMania. This was the im- the genesis of the WWE Network, a streaming service by WWE for WWE with everything all WWE. You fast forward 12 years later, it was at the forefront of a lot of things. They had the foresight to see that where this was going, that linear TV, legacy TV was dying, and a lot of people was into the streaming, Netflix in particular. And now you go 12 years later, and you have WWE on multiple streaming platforms, which is kind of sad if when you think about you had everything in the palm of your hand with the WWE Network. Glitched and all at the beginning, but once they got it smoothed out, it was great. You had the whole archive of WWE, from just all the territories, all the pay-per-views, all the Saturday night main events, a lot of the syndicated TV shows were all in one spot. Now, 2026, you have WWE Raw on Netflix on Monday. You have NXT on the CW network. You have SmackDown on USA Universal. Uh, you have the pay-per-views, the PLEs on Netflix internationally, but in the States, it's on ESPN. And that's before they migrated to ESPN from Peacock. And they migrated from to Peacock from the original iteration of the WWE Network. Now you even have NXT having their PLEs on YouTube. You have the newly acquired AAA Federation Association Wrestling Company, um, based in Mexico, on YouTube in the United States, and I guess the Mexican networks that they have, I think Fox or something to that effect, in Mexico. So you have the product all sprinkled out on different platforms. You know how much money that takes? Back then, the WWE Network 12 years ago was $9.99. For $9.99, you got everything. To the point that that's why they're meeting so much resistance now, because for all these years, you had access to everything for $9.99. Even when they went to Peacock, you had access in some cases for free with ads, minimal ads, $4.99, and no ads, $9.99. Now they want you to pay for Netflix for every Monday, even though I have the highest of the high, the top of the top, with no ads, 4K. Yeah, I still get ads, and that's what, $27 a month. Then they want you to come out your pocket for another $30 just to get ESPN for the PLEs. Yeah, right. Then CW, which is a free app, but you have to have cable, and so if you you know cut the cord, you got to wait. It's a lot. It's a lot on top of the increasing prices of the product. But that's a now situation. But I just wanted to let you know, bring you in the backstory of why this WrestleMania 30 was so momentous outside the ring. Um, leading up to this event, we saw the departure of CM Punk. Yes, we saw the departure of CM Punk. CM Punk was no longer in the company. CM Punk quit the company the night after the Royal Rumble, um, due to him not liking his WrestleMania plans in particular, but also due to overall burnout, overall um, injury, overall displeasure with the whole product. And another another issue that was going to rear its head that nobody knew was exactly how am I supposed to get paid? How am I supposed to get paid? Okay, old standards, tickets times pay-per-view revenue times merchandise equals my pay. Now we have somewhat of a pay-per-view, but now you strip that down to $9.99 for the WWE Network. How does this impact my pay? And nobody can give him an answer. And he's like, listen, before we even start all this is my cue to go to the door. And that's what he did. But the space in the roster allowed none other, which it was bubbling under, and they was trying their hardest to snuff this fire, to snuff this flame out. And that flame would be Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, the Yes Movement was a thing. The Yes Movement started, I want to say, in the summer of 2013. Yes. Remember when I was talking about Team Hell No and how in the the beginning of WrestleMania 28, where they beat Daniel Bryan in less than 10 seconds, started leading to a groundswell of disappointment, a groundswell of discontent with the company from the fans, because one of their favorites, one of their most entertaining wrestlers, one of the best, if not the best wrestler in the world at that time, was not being given the opportunities that not that he deserved, but he earned. So in the summer of 2013, he did get an opportunity at the World Championship, the WWE Championship, against John Cena, and he defeated John Cena in SummerSlam, at SummerSlam. And Randy Orton ended up turning heel by cashing in his Money in the Bank contract and joining the Authority, or being a cornerstone of the Authority, the new heel faction of Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, so forth. Kane, so forth. Corporate Kane, the whole nine. And the whole storyline, was the company did not feel that Daniel Bryan was worthy of being the champion. He did not fit the mold of being the face of the company. They're like, we can't have Goatface be the face of the company. We can't have a vegan be the face of the company. We can't have this 5 foot nothing man be a face of the company. Look at his unkempt hair. Look at his pale skin. Look at everything. Randy Orton is what a champion should look like, what the face of the company should look like, not this piece of man. And the company got behind Daniel Bryan to such an extent. They tried to take his Yes chance away from him. They tried to give the Yes chance to the Big Show. The fans wasn't liking it. They tried to have his mentor snuff him out and cost him the championship and hopefully lead to a WrestleMania match between Daniel Bryan and Shawn Michaels, because everybody would think if Shawn Michaels cost Daniel Bryan the championship, then more likely that should be a payoff, right? No. They even had Daniel Bryan briefly turn heel, supposedly, and join the Wyatt family based on his discontent of him failing. And that didn't even work. The Royal Rumble, in which we had a returning Batista come and win the Royal Rumble, and it was fait accompli. Batista returns, he wins the Royal Rumble, he main events WrestleMania with Randy Orton. That's your title match. Batista wins the championship. But the crowd said no. They revolted on not only the company, not only Batista, but the company. That combined with CM Punk leaving, now Daniel Bryan is the man of the people, not one of the men of the people, the man of the people, the man against the machine. And they stacked the odds against Daniel Bryan. They had him face the cerebral assassin himself in the opening match of WrestleMania, with the terms being if he was able to get past Triple H, then he would be inserted into the main event and it would become a triple threat between Batista, Randy Orton, and Daniel Bryan. And of course, he overcame that. He overcame injury, and he ended the night at what they say, Yesomania. WrestleMania became Yesomania. Yes, 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 yes. It ended in confetti. In confetti. It ended with him being crowned the champion, holding up the newly unified championship, which was unified not by Daniel Bryan, but by John Cena and Randy Orton in a match that everybody thought was going to be the biggest match ever, and the crowd hijacked it and wanted WWE know that, listen, Daniel Bryan is the chosen one. Unfortunately, Daniel Bryan, injuries reared his ugly head, and he only lasted maybe about 2 months as champion. But it was never meant to be. They made a point to let everybody know that, yeah, he's a champion, but he's not the guy. We still don't believe in him. We just gave you what you wanted. Gave you what you richly deserved, which was our way of thinking. And you know who his first challenger was? The Demon Kane. Really? That's how you snuff out a push. That's how you snuff out the fire of discontent, by putting Kane in there. No, that's how you stoke fire. Beyond the flaming on the fire, fire burn. Yeah. Now, it's neck and neck and what's the biggest story. But if you think about it, one is a story of 2 WrestleManias. Another story is a storyline that started all the way back in WrestleMania 7. And that would be the Undertaker streak. Yes. The Undertaker came into WrestleMania 30, 21-0. He had won 21 consecutive matches at WrestleMania. He had a 4-year stretch in which he defeated the Heartbreak Kid not once, but twice. And then he followed that up by beating the Triple H cerebral assassin not once, but twice, and ending an era. But the era really wasn't ended then. To me, in my thoughts, in my mind, the era ended at WrestleMania 30. 21-1. You know who defeated? Who was the one in 21-1? Brock Lesnar. Yes. Something I did neglect to say last episode. Brock Lesnar made his return right after WrestleMania 28, in which he bloodied John Cena, and then that led to a match that month in which he lost. And then he had a long, drawn-out feud with the cerebral assassin, because why wouldn't Triple H make himself go toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar, in which he lost at SummerSlam, but he beat the Beast Incarnate at WrestleMania 29 to even a series at 1-1. And of course, Brock Lesnar needed some needed some rebuilding. And rebuilding they did. Brock Lesnar, in the lead up to this match, nobody thought Brock Lesnar had a chance. Well, a lot of people felt that, okay, this is just another marquee match for Brock Lesnar to be involved in, and another notch on the belt of the Undertaker. But what people did not realize that was behind the scenes, that the Undertaker not only was slowing down, his body was breaking down. That there was some thought that he might not even be able to make it to Mania. There was some thought, well, from what we've heard, that Vince McMahon looked at Taker and said, you know what? You might have to be put to pasture. And if you're going to hang it up soon, i.e., this might be your last match, this might be your last WrestleMania, more specifically, we need to take all of the power that you've accumulated over these 21 victories over a gamut of people. Let's see if I can remember. Let's see if I can go down the line. Let's see if I can even do it in order off the top of the head. Remember, no trusty notes. As my bro Tyler aptly says, bro is a living encyclopedia. You're darn right I am. WrestleMania 7, he defeated Jimmy Super Fly Snooker. WrestleMania 8, he put to rest Jake the Snake Roberts. WrestleMania 9, he won by disqualification against the Giant Gonzalez. WrestleMania 10, guess what? He did not participate in WrestleMania 10. A lot of people don't realize that. WrestleMania 11, he beat King Kong Bundy. I bet you didn't have those in your bingo cards. WrestleMania 12, he defeated Big Daddy Cool Diesel in one of Diesel's last matches and his last WrestleMania wrestling match. WrestleMania 13, he finally won. He regained the WWE Championship, the WWE title, in the main event against Psycho Sid. WrestleMania 14, X-rated, he beat his brother Kane. WrestleMania 15, he should have went to jail, but he beat the Big Boss Man and left him hanging off the roof of the Hell in a Cell. WrestleMania 16, also known as WrestleMania 2000, he did not participate due to injury. He came back that May at Judgment Day to cost Triple H the championship. WrestleMania 17, X7 if you to be exact. Guess who his victim was? The aforementioned Triple H. I know a lot of people by WrestleMania 29 and 28, well, 28 and 27, they wanted to make it look like Triple H never faced the Undertaker and lost before, but it happened in WrestleMania X7. WrestleMania 18, also known as WrestleMania X8. Duh. He defeated the dirtiest player in the game, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. WrestleMania 19, it was a handicap match. He defeated Albert, also known as Tensai, and Nathan Jones. Matter of fact, I think it was a handicap match, but regardless, it was Tensai, Albert, and I think he was supposed to team up with Nathan Jones, but they wasn't confident in Nathan Jones' ability, so Nathan Jones came after the fact. But yeah, it was one of those. That's 19. WrestleMania 20. Got to run it back. Kane again. But the return of the dead man. The return of the dead man. Now, this is the beginning of a streak in which the wrestling quality increased. WrestleMania 21. He defeated the legend killer himself, Randy Orton. WrestleMania 22. He defeated the Silverback Gorilla, the Hall of Pain inductee, Mark Henry. WrestleMania 23, he won the World Heavyweight Championship against the Animal Batista. WrestleMania 24, We just talked about that a couple days ago. He defeated Edge, WrestleMania 25 and 26, HBK, WrestleMania 27, 28, Triple H, WrestleMania 29. Just yesterday, he defeated CM Punk, and now he finally met his maker in WrestleMania 30 against Brock Lesnar. Another known fact of this match is Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, suffered a concussion early on in this match, and Brock Lesnar had to guide him through the rest of the match. Also, Undertaker was taken to the hospital immediately following this match, and Brock Lesnar was alongside the Undertaker. Mutual respect to each other, and a lot of people thought it was a mistake by the referee when he actually said 1, 2, 3. But if you think about it, if people really paid attention, if it was a mistake, would they have this graphic ready as soon as the bell rung? Look at Brock Lesnar. He's looking at the Undertaker, not with disgust, but with concern. Like, yo, I hope he's all right. Had his hand raised in victory. The agony of defeat. Also, yes, this is a long memory, but I told you this was a momentous WrestleMania. We had a match between John Cena and Bray Wyatt, in which, for all intents and purposes, Bray Wyatt should have won. I want to say Bray Wyatt's career probably would have had a way different arc if he would have won this match. There was no reason for John Cena to win this match. The crowd was behind John Cena. He even had the children behind. No, the crowd was behind Bray Wyatt, and he even had the children behind him. Got the whole world in his hands. He has the whole wide world in his hands. He has the whole world in his hands. He has the whole world in his hands. He has his mother and his father in his hands. He has a brother and a sister in his hands. He has a son and a daughter in his hands. He has the whole world in his hands. Old spiritual song. You could think of it in a lot of ways. Some people might think it's blasphemous for him to use that song in terms of himself, and I didn't look at it in those terms, and now that I look back at it, definitely don't look at it in those terms. It's almost the same. It's similar to the cult of personality. The world, the society believes in a hero such as John Cena. But can John Cena truly be? Is John Cena truly the virtuous person that he claims himself to be? Or why don't he take off the mask? Everybody proclaims me to be a monster, but at least I show you who I am. Somebody needs to take off the mask and give in. Give in to those feelings that you've been trying to douse. And that was the point of this match. But they allowed, John Cena persevered. And that set off a trend, or started a trend, of Bray Wyatt really being in the right, but not really coming out better than he did when he started. Bray Wyatt passed away a couple years ago. Rest in peace to Bray Wyatt. They did run this back at WrestleMania 36 when we get to it, which when we get to it, it's very interesting how they did it, what they did. And yeah, very interesting. And the main event, of course, like I said, Daniel Bryan won the WWE Championship, the Unified Championship. Batista came back, had a good showing, and Batista was actually the one who tapped out to the Yes Lock, not Randy Orton. But if Triple H could tap out of the Yes Lock, then I guess Batista could do also. But this is also the genesis of Batista because everybody was booing him, so that was his nickname, Batista. And then he started wearing all blue um, wrestling apparatus, wrestling apparel. So he started becoming Blutista. Yeah, I know. Probably just a Twitter thing, but Twitter was way different place back then than it is now. And in some ways, it's not. So, with all that being said, I think we're gonna wrap this up. Yeah, it's 25 minutes. So this is one of the longest WrestleMania memories in recent memory. Tomorrow, WrestleMania 31, featuring the heist of the century with a new participant, somebody breaking their WrestleMania main event virginity, um, someone coming back and persevering from one of the lowest moments of their WrestleMania career, and some nostalgia that, eh, was it really needed? I don't know. But with all that being said, I'm going to get out of here. And once again, thank you for joining us on this ride. At this pace, I think I actually will be able to finish WrestleMania Memories by this year's WrestleMania 42. Would that be a memory? No, I think that's just going to be a recap. So you could choose to join the rest the WrestleMania recap that will either be that immediately preceding, but probably the next day on the flagship podcast, the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. Like, join, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. To all my new subscribers over the last couple days, I appreciate y'all. Um, Truly and immensely, I appreciate y'all. And this is something that I do out of enjoyment, hobby, what have you. But WrestleMania memories is very important to me because it brings back the light in my fandom because I've become very cynical, especially things that's going on in current state. If you're unfamiliar with how I feel about the current state of wrestling, please check out the archives. Matter of fact, check out my page, my channel. I did a live this past week talking about the state of WWE and what's going on in SmackDown. It seems like every Saturday now, I end up doing a live on Saturday afternoons, recapping my thoughts of SmackDown and giving my overall thoughts about this piss poor build to WrestleMania. So, but regardless of all that, enough with the promotion. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. And I will see y'all tomorrow, probably back in my car studio because why not? Goodbye.